Hello guys, so again welcome to the very interesting topic which is like the RAG evaluation and the LLM monitoring. And why I wanted to cover this topic, because till now we have done so many experiments of creating a chatbot, making a RAG system using a different LLM agent, right? But we missed one point, is basically how do I actually measure the token? Okay, how do I know that how many token has been utilized? What is the latency of user asking a question and the LLM giving us the response? Okay, and then how to measure the cost? Okay, how to do the inferencing? Okay, how to understand that which context my RAG pipeline has actually taken in order to give me the answer. Okay, so we will be using this open source weights and bias WanDB. I have used it in my computer vision section as well. This is just a very easy way containing all the package just to integrate into your RAG evaluation pipeline, or even a simple RAG pipeline, just to evaluate all this procedure. That's it. Okay, there is nothing rocket science in it. It is very easy. So what I will do is that I will first install the necessary package. Okay, so from the pip I'm going to install the View and OpenAI. Okay, and then let's chunk the data. So I have explicitly, just for demo purpose, I have chunked these data and then put it into the single list. Okay, this is the articles. If I just try to print it, that how many chunks I have, right? So these many chunks I have total 7 chunks. Okay, and let's try to import the OpenAI API key. Okay, so import OS. Okay, so after like fetching the API key, now what I will do is that whatever the chunk that I created, I'm going to create the embedding. Okay, and which embedding model I'm supposed to use? I'm supposed to use this text embedding 3 small model. Okay, just for creating embedding. So this function is what this function is going to do is that in the document we will be having a set of chunk. We are going to pass this as a list, and then it will try to do the embedding. Okay, now let's create the embedding. Okay, so what it will do is that it will going to create the embedding part. Okay, so if we can see the embedding, we can actually see that, right? So this is how the embedding of all the sentence in the chunk of the list is actually like created. Okay, this is like the real embedding looks like, right? Now what we are supposed to do with that, we need to create a RAG application. Okay, so now what we will be doing is that this function, right? So this is like the weave.op is basically a decorator. Okay, and you can actually find all this document in the WanDB. So I will like walk you through with that documentation as well, but just for understanding sake, just understand these things. Okay, so I'm just initializing my OpenAI key. Okay, and this is basically the query embedding, so that whenever the user is asking any query, first of all the user query will get embedded. Okay, and then these are my previous embedding. Okay, and then it is going to find out the similarity check, okay, of all the embedding which is present in my articles. Okay, these are the embeddings, right? So it is going to like check, and then it is going to find out that most relevant document. Okay, and then it is supposed to give me the list of all the most relevant document which has the highest cosine similarity. Okay, after user is asking any question, right? So this is function is just to get the most relevant document. Okay, after doing the cosine similarity. Now what it will do is that let's try to create a RAG model. Okay, so this is just a simple class. Inside this class I am actually writing the predict. Okay, this predict function. Now what is this predict function will do is that this entire same thing, because at the very last stage of your RAG, right, you need to set up your LLM, right? So this is just you are actually setting up your LLM just by giving the context that if the answer cannot be found, say I do not know, otherwise just try to find out the answer. Okay, and then here is actually the user question, and you are actually giving the model name. So this is your model name, this is the final LLM model name. You are actually using the GPT 3.5 turbo, and in the embedding model you are actually using the Google GPT text embedding, right, small model. So these two models you are actually using, right? And the temperature I have set up as 0.5, and all these things are all these things are actually same. Okay, so let me just try to execute this part. Now let's set up the WanDB for monitoring part. Okay, so see, I'm not explaining these things because these things you already probably know, right? So let's just set up the WanDB. Let me just walk you through this. Okay, so this is basically the WanDB, guys. Okay, let me create a new project first. So let me delete the all the previous project. Okay, because I want to show it from the very basics. So let me delete this. Similar to this one as well. Okay, so now what you're supposed to do is that just go here, like just go to this wandb.ai. Okay, and then do the sign up, and then create a new project. Okay, the moment you write the new project, so you need to assign your team name. Just give the name of your team. So this is my, let's say, 1 second, I'll go to profile, I'll go to project, I'll create a new project. I'm giving the project name as, let's say, verify or VGI skill lab. Okay, the project visibility, this is team, and I have created my project. Okay, this is the project that I've created. Now it is actually like giving you instruction that how do you basically set up so that you can actually connect your local RAG pipeline with the WanDB cloud. So it is actually like giving you that you need to first log in. Okay, so what I will do is that I will be logging into my projects. Okay, so if I do this WanDB login, so it is asking the like enter the API key. Okay, so just go here and just paste this API key here. That's it. If I just click it, So my this local system which is running in my collab environment, it is basically connected with my this project in my cloud. Okay. Now what I'm supposed to do is that I'm supposed to set up my API key. So this is my API key here. So what I will do is that I am going to copy and paste this API key. Just copy it, just paste it here. Okay. Now what I'm supposed to do is that I need to initialize it. So in order to do the initialization, you need to create this weave.init. Okay, weave.init, and then this is your team name. Okay, and this is your project name. Okay, so my project name is this one, VGI skill lab, right? So I will just copy it here, copy the entire part, and then I will paste it here. Okay, so my project has been initialized. Okay, so everything is actually set up. Now what I'm supposed to do is that whatever the RAG pipeline that I have created, okay, the chunking, the embedding, right, answering question, and then the last part is basically like responding it by filtering it using the LLM part, right? So let me just call the RAG one, right? So let me just ask any question and let me just see that how my model is basically responding. Okay, so if I just going to ask model.predict, okay, because my RAG model is basically my class, okay, and this model I am creating an object, okay, and inside this object I am calling this predict method. Okay, so inside this class there is a method which is called predict, right? So I am actually calling my predict method here. Okay, so that my user query will go there inside that method, it will try to create it into the embedding. Okay, and then do the cosine similarity check with this one and get the most relevant document and then feed it into the LLM, and the LLM has actually given up some instruction based on the context. What is the context? It is the retrieve context, right, from the embedding, from after like fetching up the documents, right, from your embedding model, and then finally it is going to give you the answer, right? So in this way, let me ask any question and let's see that what is the response. Okay, so as you can see that this is the question I have asked, right? So what is significant result was reported about Zealand Pharma OPCT trial. Okay, so this is like some question I have like asked, right? And it is actually giving me the answer, that this is actually the answer, and you can actually like monitor your answer just by visiting this part. So if I just go here, copy, and let me paste here. Okay, so even if like you can actually go to your project as well. So because this is my project, just go to your profile, projects, VGI skill lab. You can see the first question will getting appeared here. Okay, the first question will get appeared here, and let me increase the font size. See, the first question will get appeared here, which means this is your function. Okay, this is the function that your LLM has called. Okay, and this is your question, right? This is your question, and this is the answer that you get. See, this is the answer that you get. Now the most interesting part is that what is the context. Okay, it is also giving you the context, that it has taken this context or this citation just to give you this answer based on this user question, based on this user question. So let me go one more time, right? Based on this user question, this is the final RAG pipeline has answered, and then this is your context. Okay, this is your context, and there is so many other options. So how many token it has utilized? So it has utilized 289 token. This is the cost of like running all the entire RAG pipeline. So it is basically 0.003. Okay, so this is the cost, and you can actually see that there are different cost estimation as well. So input cost is this one, embedding cost it has taken 0.0001, then GPT 3.5 turbo, the very last part of your LLM, it has actually taken this one, and finally these are the output cost. Okay, so these are the input cost and these are the output costs, and summing up everything, this is the final cost, and latency is basically 2 seconds. Okay, so in this way you can actually get it. So let me see some other option. If I get, I can actually walk you through this. Okay, now here you will see some other option as well, right? So this is your RAG predict. Inside you have two function like get most relevant, and these are the most relevant result. You can actually see this part. Okay, and then these are the chats. This is the system prompt which has given, this is the context that it has retrieved. Okay, and this is the user question, and based on the user question, this is the answer. Okay, so in this way, so you can go to this code. These are basically code which is actually running. So I'm not writing the code, like the WanDB team has actually written out this code just to make all these things work. Okay, and these are the calls, and you can actually see this one. So this has the pipeline, like how it is actually like created. Okay, so first the predict function is called, then after this get relevant function is called, then this chat completion is called, and then this one, right? You can actually like see the different mind map also. So let me, yeah, so see, you can actually see this mind map also, this one. So what it has actually called, it has called this function, okay, and then it has called these two function, these two sub function, okay, and then finally it will going to retrieve this final response by using this one, right? So in this way you can actually monitor each and everything. Now let me try to ask some more question, okay, and then let's try to compare it. Okay, till now whatever thing that you see is basically just for monitoring purpose, right? So let me ask some other question. So let me again use this as a evaluating the LLM as a judge. Okay, so I will going to do one more thing. So I'm just using this context precision score function, just writing my this questions, giving like setting up my client, okay, and then setting up my prompt, setting up the response, the same thing, right? And then let me ask these like the multi variety question, and let me just compare. Okay, and even if you're worried about like where am I getting this code, so just go here inside this, you will go this one. So you have to go docs.wandb.ai/weeb. So inside this you will going to see a lot more different variants that how you can actually use it by yourself, right? So this all the code I have actually picked up from here, and I have actually built it for myself, right? So even like you wanted to build the RAG evaluation pipeline, so you can actually make it by yourself, right? So these are the articles, and then how to create the embedding, how to create a RAG app, okay, so that everything will get reflected in your dashboard. Okay, similarly if you go to this building a RAG evaluation pipeline, so these are the things that you will get. Okay, how to set up everything, okay, how to get the graph and other things. So yeah, so I have actually used this notebook, the evaluate RAG application notebook. Okay, inside this I have picked up those things which are necessary for my requirement, that is why. Okay, now let's back to this one. So as you can see that it has already like answered all these 7 questions, okay, and then it has actually represented it, and these are the model latency. Okay, so it has actually taken the 3.09 second, okay, the mean average, right? So now let me go to my dashboard. Okay, just refresh it because I am actually working inside the same project. So if you go to this evaluation, let me reset projects, VJ skill lab, evaluation. So this is the kind of question that you will get, right? And if you go to this view result, so what you will see, like for each question, what are the latency that it has taken. Okay, like suppose some of those latency is actually very low, which means like the question does not include more logical or aptitude type question. Okay, so answering this question is significantly taking a less time compared to the answering the question which is like taking 3.62 second. Okay, in this way you can actually understand your user question, okay, that, and then you can better write your system prompt, okay, just for R&D study, right? I'm just giving you the idea, right? So that you can actually try to experiment it by yourself and make your RAG pipeline more better. Okay, and then this is basically the total token that has taken. Okay, and these are the context precision score. Okay, in this way you go and try it out by yourself, because there are so many other options here that you can actually try it by your own. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Just let me know and see this one, right? So this is like these are all this model coverage, the request, the input tokens and other thing, right? This is the evaluation part. And what is the other option? Let me see. If I go back, projects, VJ skill lab, so I can also basically compare like these two questions, right? So I can do the compare operation and I can actually compare these things. So that's okay, like you can actually try it by yourself and just let me know that how well you can actually utilize it for your own project. Okay, so this is just a small thing that I wanted to show you. Thank you guys.